Carson Wentz, it's what Steelers, Broncos, Buccaneers, Saints, and the Commanders are looking for a quarterback. But do any of them see Wentz as the guy?
That phone's not ringing, you're saying?
No, there's no way. I don't think he'll play next. If he plays next year, he will be a backup somewhere. And speaking of your
nice
boy,
clipboard.
Yeah, Trubisky. Yeah. I'm thinking Washington. I'm thinking the Commanders.
Oh.
He would be a good fit for Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera could do something with him.
Old Bears player times 2.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, you said one of the quarterbacks that could be potentially in the draft is from Liberty.
Yes.
The insurance company?
Yes, he works for the insurance company and the University of Liberty.
Okay.
So he
is it that ostrich?
Hey,
an ostrich.
Yeah, you know that commercial.
Emu, the emu.
Yeah, he's an emu.
Oh wait, that's the wrong company, isn't it?
You're going elsewhere,
man. All right, does that flow? No, that's a different one altogether. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
But I was gonna say, I don't know if they'll go the quarterback route in the draft because again they have a lot of situations too. Because the sad thing is like they had 7 Pro Bowlers last year. They were a good quality team that just couldn't get over the hump. A lot of because of their quarterback.
Well, isn't Colts in a win now, almost in a win now situation?
Yes,
kind of close.
Yeah, yes. So like that's the thing is Ballard has to be feeling heat, right? Right has to feel the heat, but like, do you stay with Wentz? I mean, that's why this is so fascinating. Is like these are 2 guys that I believe are good at their jobs in Ballard and Reich, but. If they get another quarterback starting next year, this will be the 5th quarterback in the 5 years Reich has been there.
Okay, with Jonathan Taylor, can't you just hand the ball off 5 times out of 6 and say, have a good day? I mean, seriously.
I don't think it works like that.
Until he wears out.
Yeah, I don't think it works like that.
What was that game where the Josh Allen threw 6 passes? Or what was that game? Or was that a Patriots? Somebody this year?
Oh, it was Mac Jones.
Mac Jones
versus the Buffalo in the first
They won, didn't they?
Yeah, but they were running with 2 backs, and one of the backs got injured.
There's a model out there.
Indianapolis, I'm going to put it out there. Here's my wild-ass prediction. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy G.
Yeah. But elsewhere, I see what fascinates me, too, is where's Russell Wilson going to end up?
Seattle. Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
You think?
Yeah. I do.
I see. I agree with Jay Boy. I think the funny thing about all this, like talk about all these quarterbacks moving, because we've been, I guess, lucky enough to have, the trade for Stafford and obviously the move by Brady, who was a free agent these last 2 years, where it's been fun. I don't think it happens this year. Like a major name. Now you might be right, Lugs. Maybe Jimmy Garoppolo gets moved. I don't see, kind of like what Jay Boy says. What would be enticing enough for the Seahawks to give away Russell Wilson?
Yeah, there's nothing out there.
Well, I mean, they've got to rebuild that defense. So if you give away Russell Wilson, you're basically saying we're going to rebuild.
We're done. Right.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You have the most important part of a team in a quarterback. You don't give up a quarterback for a great D end or a great corner.
Right.
Like that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think Russell is less verbal about wanting to leave, but I do think he wants to leave Seattle.
Oh, last year he wasn't. I don't know if it's going to change this year. Last year he wasn't. He essentially kind of said, hey, I'm not saying that I want to leave, but if I was going to leave, these are my 6 teams. It was like Dallas, Chicago. I forget what the other 4 were. I mean,
it's a short list.
Yeah. But he was very concentrated. It's like, I'm willing to go to these places. Hint, 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 hint.
Yep.
And again, Seattle, kind of like with J-Boy, I think that feels the same way. They're going to be like this year. It's like, yeah, well, that's great. You wanted, but like, it's not going to work out for us.
I think Wentz has a list like that this year, doesn't he? I want to go here.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. He's
XFL?
he's listing all. The USFL. It's going to start up here in April. It's going to start up in April.
Birmingham
USFL,
Barons.
One of the 8. No, I think there's like stars and like a lot of garbage.
It's coming up. We got it. What do you mean? That'll be what we talk about.
It's not the Battlehawks. I missed the Battlehawks.
Yes, the XFL. Okay. All right. What else do we want to hit on tonight? Talk to me a little bit. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say congratulations to the Lady Cards for the 5th year in a row, they're in the top 5. They're actually ranked number 4. And this week, their players, Emily Egstler and Haley Van Lith, they were named first team All ACC.
Nice.
Mikasa Robinson and Egstler also made the defensive team, and Peyton Verhulst made the all freshman team. So with their current record, the Lady Cards go into the ACC tournament as a number 2 seed. And that tournament kicks off in 2 days this Wednesday. And because of their record, they get 2 byes and won't play until the quarterfinals on Friday. So just wanted to say congrats to the Lady Cards and Jeff, the coach, Jeff Waltz. I mean, it's an amazing thing to watch something positive come out of U of L, man.
For a change.
Goodness. Wow. Speaking of crazy, I just wanted to also bring up while we're talking U of L, Kenny Payne is the favorite son and looks to be the odds-on favorite to at least get a look. But I wish they would go ahead and do something for
men's
him.
basketball coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The only downside I see is if you go for a favorite son, let's say, look at Georgetown. They went for their favorite son, Patrick Ewing. Georgetown has lost 18 in a row. So when you go for a favorite son, it better work, because then it's going to be nasty as to asking him to step down if it doesn't work.
Well, it's kind of like Patrick's professional career. He just kept losing to Michael Jordan over and over and over again.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that to his face.
No, he's bigger than I am by a long shot. by 2 of me. Tito, you want to talk about the Big Ten? We're on college now. Let's talk Big Ten talk.
Yeah, the Big Ten, their contract is coming up, and after the 2023 season, you want to talk about some crazy numbers because of how much money broadcast is essentially just conceded. Like, the only way they're going to get eyeballs anymore is essentially live sports. That's how they're going to get eyeballs.
Except the Olympics. Let's put an asterisk by that. We know that didn't work out too well.
Yeah. But with their contract coming up, it is projected but in an article by Andy Staples that they could make $1 billion a year due to the demand that all the competitors will kind of be aiming for. And because of what if you add that in with what will be the playoff contract, each team in the conference of the Big Ten will receive around $100 million in revenue sharing. So, and a lot of it is because John Lewis of Sports Media Watch said Fox News slot game would always average around 5.7 million viewers. 8 of the most viewed games of that slot involved Big Ten teams. It's just, and I won't get completely into it. Andy Staples always breaks down the 4 million club, which is any games in college that reach 4 million or above. It's usually SEC games, and it's usually Big Ten games. So if you're getting that many eyeballs, that's where you're going to grab it. And you look at NBC, they have a streaming system now with Peacock, so obviously they're trying to. Obviously, CBS has one now, and also CBS lost SEC to ESPN, so obviously they have a large amount of money that they have to fill not only their TV but also now their Paramount Plus streaming service. And Fox has the Big 12 and Pac-12, but again, they don't. The only teams that matter in the Big 12 in terms of ratings are Texas and Oklahoma. Well, they're leaving for SEC. So obviously Fox wants to hold on to, I believe it's the tier 1 package for the Fox or for Big Ten. And then ESPN, I think, currently has the tier 2. They'll probably want to hold on to the tier 2 just so they are in the mix. They don't care about probably getting tier 1. But still, it's just fascinating to me just how much money it exchanges hands for sports in terms of media rights, just because, again, with broadcast, that's where it is. Like all these sitcoms or contestant shows, they do well, but they aren't big money because, like we've talked about before, Sunday Night Football is consistently year in, year out in the U.S., the number one show.
Come on, dude. What about The Amazing Race, Survivor, The Good Doctor? You don't catch those, Lugs? You got those on the DVR, on the VHS, don't you?
By the way, the next Big Ten game that features Michigan
Oh, wow. Yeah.
and Wisconsin. Oh, yeah.
Juwan Howard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. We went to a basketball game and a fight broke out.
I want to tell you. Yeah.
I was just going to say, Lugs only watches streaming at the library and watches Tubi.
Tubi.
Is that free? That's a free trial, too. 50 days, I think. Okay, I got a question or a topic on the same. We're talking football. Troy Aikman to ESPN Monday Night Football for something like $19, $20 million a year. Who cares about the money? Do you think it's going to happen? And here's my theory. Joe Buck follows him. Anybody? Let's talk about that for
I think that they will want to bring them in together. Yeah, for sure.
And to tie into what you're saying, J-Boy, I believe Joe Buck's contract is only 1 year, so they haven't extended it. So he's lame duck. So you might be right. They might be willing to release him. Yeah, buy it out or release him just so they could start over. So that the number one team could be Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olson.
Well, exactly. First, what happens to Fox if that happens? And number two, off the top of your head, can you even name any Monday Night Football crew over the last 10 years?
I can't. I mean, it was Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, and
he couldn't do it.
And Gruden was there for a while, wasn't he?
Gruden, Mike Tirico,
Joe Pesci,
Gruden, Mike Tirico.
Joe Pesci. Pesci.
Yeah, was that
Joe Pesci? No, that
was the guy who replaced Mike Tirico. And again, no offense to that guy. It's one. It's going to be hard to replace Mike Tirico because Mike Tirico again. Al Michaels is leaving NBC.
Yeah,
it feels like it hasn't come. It hasn't. They're at the 1 yard line. It sounds like it's gonna be. That will happen, but they haven't. But
Amazon, Tirico, you think? You mean Amazon?
I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying this. I love Al Michaels, but Mike Tirico sliding in is perfectly fine. The guy who replaced Al Michaels at ESPN, it was not going to go well. He lasted 1 year, and it's not his fault. But Gruden didn't like him. Which maybe, in hindsight is a good thing in terms of you as a person. He doesn't like you. But
okay, but at the end of the day, $20 million to be a color analyst for, 16 games, 17, 20, 18 games a year. Do you really care as a viewer, listener, who's calling the game? Lugs, do you care? Do you care?
Yeah,
do you?
I do. I mean,
does it matter?
I mean, I will watch, but it's not going to stop me from watching a game. Don't get me wrong. But there are guys that I prefer to listen to. I'll tell you what I do, especially with the Bengals games. I put on Lap on the radio and watch it on TV, because it's an added bonus.
Here's a little lap for you right here.
Bam, bam, bam. That is unbelievable.
That's Dave Lapham, courtesy of.
So that's what I do. But no, NFL is the game. I have no interest in NBA, and I have absolutely no interest in MLB. I don't care if they have a season or not. Who cares?
So far, they're not. We'll talk about that next week. Interesting.
I just find it interesting, too, because it sounded like Al Michaels wanted to work with Troy Aikman at Amazon. So who does that stop Al Michaels from going with Amazon, or do they just up the amount of money? Because the money doesn't matter.
Well, what if Al joins Troy on ESPN and goes back to his original Monday Night Football roots? That would be a good team.
That's a possibility as well. So
and Joe Buck gets somebody else, and Fox saves their face a little bit because they keep Joe.
Yeah,
and we all know how much we love Joe. We love him.
I love him. I love all our different relationships with all these personalities. I like Joe Buck. I know J-Boy does not. He's his Cliff Kingsbury.
He's a Hall of Famer.
See, Joe Buck to me is a baseball guy. He does decent baseball. I think he's okay football. But, let's be honest. We love the NFL. We love that craziness. Even bad games I still watch.
Oh, I would, and again, he's a great commentator, but like this goes back years when Gus Johnson would do like